Question 1. Question 1 asks us to calculate the length x, so the length of this side here. It tells us that we have an angle of 35 degrees and a side length of 14.3 degrees. So I can see straight away that it's trigonometry, two sides and one angle. So the first thing in trigonometry always is to label the sides. Well, as this is the angle in question, the opposite side to that angle is this one here, so I'm going to put an O there. The hypotenuse is the longest side, so I'm going to put an H there. Don't forget the hypotenuse is always the one opposite the right angle as well. And this is the adjacent side here, which is the side that's adjacent to the angle in question. Now, looking at the triangle, I'm wondering which trigonometry ratio to use. So I'm going to use my memory jogger of SOHCAHTOA. And I can see that the opposite side is involved because it asked me to find x. The hypotenuse is involved because it gives me the length of that side, but the adjacent isn't involved because it doesn't tell me anything about the adjacent side. It doesn't ask me anything either. So if I'm looking at the sides, the opposite and the hypotenuse, I can see that the only ratio with those sides involved is the sine. So I can say here that the sine of 35 degrees is equal to the opposite over the hypotenuse. The opposite is x and the hypotenuse is 14.3. They're asking me to find x, so I need to get x on its own, so I need to rearrange this equation by multiplying both sides by 14.3. And if I do that, I can cancel these out, which leaves me x on this side. The sine of 35 I put into my calculator, and it comes out at 0.574. And then I have to multiply that, of course, by the 14.3. So if we put that into our calculator, it actually comes out as 8.2 centimetres. Don't forget the units, centimetres, and that's the value of x, the side length. So this side length here is 8.2 centimetres. Okay. So now we go on to question B. We're running a bit short of space, but we'll just do it anyway. So I'll start the calculations up here. So the angle in question is y, and it asks us to calculate the angle size y. So y is the angle in question, so I'm going to label my sides here. The opposite angle to y, the opposite side is this one here, which is 14.6. I'm going to label it O. The adjacent side is the side next to the angle, that's not the hypotenuse, so I'm going to label that A. And of course the longest side opposite the right angle is the hypotenuse. Now I'm going to ignore the hypotenuse because it's not telling me anything about it, and it's not asking me to find out anything about it either. So I'm looking for a trigonomical ratio which uses A, the adjacent side, and O, the opposite side. And if I go back to my memory jogger, I can see that it's tan. So I can say that the tan of y is equal to the opposite over the adjacent, and our opposite is 14.6 over the adjacent of 8.7. So work that out, pop that into the calculator. 14.6 divided by 8.7 is 1.678. So if the tan of y is equal to 1.678, I have to find the inverse tan. And when I put that into the calculator, y turns out to be 59.2 degrees. And that's the answer to the question.